willkommen bei meinem Podcast von Wunschcoaching, dem Podcast für deine Persönlichkeitsentwicklung. Jetzt wünsche ich dir viel Spaß bei dieser Folge. Diese Folge ist eine ganz besondere für mich. Nadine hat mich für ihren Happiness Safari Podcast interviewt. Das Interview ist auf Englisch. Ich hoffe, ihr seid der Sprache mächtig und ihr erfahrt hier einiges über mich und mein Leben und warum ich zu der Person geworden bin, die ich heute bin. Viel Spaß!
And today I'm so happy to speak to Marina. And Marina and I, we met in Portugal almost 2 years ago, and we did a crazy online seminar with Tony Robbins together, Date with Destiny. And that itself was a crazy experience we have to talk about. But today I want to talk to you about happiness in your journey and also what you do to help other people to live their dream life. And how are you today?
Hi, Nadine. Thank you so much for having me. I'm fantastic. Thank you. How about you?
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Just that we're both in Germany at the moment. And
yes.
It's a nice hot summer.
Oh, yeah.
Luckily for us, it's still pretty nice. In other areas, it's a little bit more difficult, but we are quite lucky where we are. Yeah.
Yes.
So should we just dive in, and you can start where you would like to start, but where would you say did your own happiness journey started?
All right. So I think my happiness journey starts when I was 18 years old. At that time, I really felt lost on earth and hit rock bottom. I suffered from bulimia at this time, and I really had bad self-doubts. Well, my dad left me and my family when I was 5. Well, he comes back later when I was 15. But as a little girl, I always thought that he was leaving the family because of me. I was thinking that I was not enough. I was thinking that I was not worthy. And of course, now I know that this was not the reason and the truth, but because the worth of us is never depending on someone else's opinion, because every one of us is enough and worthy. But at that time, I didn't have that connection to me and maybe the knowledge to know this. And at 18, I started to work with people. I worked in a group home for mentally ill people. And this was really the turning point for me. It was the first time for me to learn about psychology and why people behave like they do. And I also start to study social pedagogy, social work. And yes, since then, I really know that this is what I want to do. I started to dig deeper in this profession. I learned and still learn as much as I could and can in various subjects like psychology, social education, systemic work, different methods, interventions, of course, personal development, and also in the spiritual area. And I think this was the beginning to heal myself and to understand why I felt the way I did earlier on.
Wow. Well, thank you first for sharing. And I think there are 2 very important points I want to come back to. I mean, one is, I guess you're the first person on the podcast who's mentioning bulimia. So definitely would like to know what you actually did to overcome that. Because, and I know that actually many people, mostly girls, are suffering from that. And that it's a topic, I guess, also a little bit ignored sometimes by society because you feel you cannot really talk to people and tell them, and it's so obvious sometimes because if you're really skinny, but then I'm assuming when you're actually experiencing it yourself, you're not so aware of yourself.
Okay. So, of course, I had some sessions with a therapist later on. I think I was about 27, 28. And I also start to really get my knowledge from books. I read so much about this theme. And it was much about self-reflection. And I think I started to have bulimia at, I was 15 when I started with it. because it was the only way to control myself, because other things didn't work that much out like I want to do, because my father left, my mom had depression and stuff like that, and this was the only thing I had control over. So I think this was the reason why I started it. But I also recognize that it was a really good thing for me to meet my needs. I know it because of the Robbins Madanes training. I'm also a life coach, and this was the turning point for me to really understand why I did that. I think bulimia helped me to connect with myself. I know it sounds weird maybe to get it, but yeah, I felt myself that way better when I did it, and when I had this and also certainty. This was also a point for me. I knew that I know what to do, and I did it almost every day, I think. So it was was really crazy time. And it took a long time to get over it, to be honest. I think I had it over 10 years. Wow. So I had to work on me. I had to change my patterns, my old patterns. I have to understand and why I had them, and then to get more supportive patterns in my daily life.
Yeah.
Step by step.
Yeah, definitely. But did that come from yourself? Was it, your own motivation to change? So nobody tried to push you or force you or tell you, do something? Or...
No, it was from myself, really from my inside out, because I really knew that I had to overcome it to go further and to more developing my personal life.
But was there a point, I guess, when you made the decision that you wanted to change something about it? Was there a period before where you were just maybe not even sure what you were doing, or where you were not sure why you were doing it, or where you didn't think that it was actually dangerous, or
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think the point was when my brother found out that I had bulimia. And it was on Christmas Day, if I remember it right. And he just found it out and was really shocked. And I was so ashamed of myself. And this was the first time I really looked at myself. What am I doing to me, to my body, to my mind, and to my family? And this was the turning point. And then I was like, okay, I have enough. I need to change. And then I find somebody who helped me. And then, then I helped myself with hard work.
Yeah. And I know, and then you said you had it for 10 years, so it's a slow and long process. But was there, because Tony Robbins also always says, like, you are like a decision, or your life changes, in a second, but it takes obviously time to get there. But was there one moment where you would say that's where it really changed?
To be honest, it was a slow way, a slow, long way. There was not that moment that changed everything, because, I was good for weeks. And then if I had some pressure in my life or something, I fell back in old patterns. So I always have to remind me, okay, I want to stop it. What can I do? What is supporting me? What is more healthy for me and my body? So I didn't have that point where I can say that everything changed, to be honest. But in other areas I have.
Okay. Very good. Okay, then one more question to that topic. I mean, what would you say, or maybe two, is the one thing that helped you the most? Was that?
I think self-love. Self-love was and forgiveness for me. Also for my dad, because he left the family. That's the thing. I always I'm also doing meditation and stuff in the morning, so I always need to connect with me and myself in a good way, and that's like really to love myself the way I am, and I'm good as I am. Yeah.
And you are.
Thank you. You too.
You all are. So everybody is listening. And that's an important message I think we have to hear and tell ourselves all the time, because we forget so easily. And I mean, especially, I can imagine, I mean, thank God, I didn't suffer from bulimia, but I remember also that, I mean, just being a teenager, and I mean, my father and my mother, I mean, they got divorced when I was a baby, so he didn't really leave, but still, you know, I know that I had this feeling of being abandoned by, you know, like him. So because I never had him in my life. And I know as a teenager, it was just difficult in general to cope because you just have no idea about all your emotions and things going on, and you're developing so fast and everything is changing. And I don't think that in the past, or I don't know now, but really teachers are supportive, and I didn't have like all the siblings around kind of helping me through that. And I think my mother also didn't really know how to deal with me when I was young. So I remember it was just in general like a very difficult time. I mean, to be a teenager is just tough.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
It's a crazy time.
It's a crazy time. Wow. Okay, what would be the one suggestion you would give to people who are actually suffering from bulimia or maybe a similar disease and they want to change something?
Well, I think my first suggestion is that really to look at yourself, and it's okay if you have bulimia. You are not less worthy or something, or you are not enough. Really stop that self-doubting. But if you want to change, you can always get some help. It doesn't matter if it's a therapist or if it's a good friend, but I think the first point is to talk about it to somebody else and to maybe, to ask for help.
Yeah.
And I think that's the first step.
Yeah. Very good. And I think that goes for everything anyways, right?
Yes.
But asking for help is really
but sometimes it's tough because you're ashamed of your behavior and you're like, okay, nobody else has this and I'm not normal and stuff like that. But it's really okay if you have it, but you can change. That's the good point. If you want to change, you can.
Yeah. And I guess we both experience that, right? In many different ways, you can change basically everything, and then you explore and discover new, maybe negative beliefs, but maybe they're not affecting your life so much, but in a way. And it's about to, also erase these layers and maybe find help in different ways in your life and different stages for different things. Yeah. Very good. And and then what happened next?
Well, what happened next? I think my dad died when I was 21, and we started to get a connection. He came back to our family when I was 15. Well, he was not with my mom, but we started to have phone calls and stuff like that. But it was really hard to get a deep connection with him. We never had that. And then he died when I was 21. He had cancer. And the point for me was, it really hits me because I had no chance to say goodbye to him. So this was something I really struggled with because I really wanted to talk to him and say so many things. I had no chance to say him. We never spoke about his absence in my childhood and stuff like that. And now it was too late. Well, but after a while, I decided to forgive him. And that's the point. I forgive him that he was leaving and that he had a decision to leave our family. I mean, he also struggled with many things in his life, and I never mentioned that. So, I was like, okay, maybe he had some reasons to make this decision and leave us, but it was not because of me. And then I wrote him a long letter. And it was the first time I really get all my emotions in it. And this was the first time I really felt free in my heart. Yeah.
Wow.
This was important to do for me.
Yeah. Forgiveness is very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And I love to say that, I mean, that saying, like, you don't forgive somebody for the other person, but you do forgive for yourself to free yourself, right?
Yes.
And it's like, or you're wearing forgiveness as like a backpack and you are carrying the weight and you can just put it down and then it, like it frees you to forgive someone. And so it's not that the other person is carrying it, but you are carrying it actually.
Yeah. It's a totally game changer if you understand that. That's really, and so important for everybody, for us.
Yeah, okay. So that's the second big recommendation you would give to people is to forgive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you start by forgiving your dad or forgiving yourself?
Well, I think I started with myself because I'm more connected to me than with him. And as I had the better connection to myself, I think then I started to forgive him. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think all starts with yourself, in yourself.
Yeah. And how do you remember how you forgave yourself? Did you write yourself a letter too, or did you?
I'm writing diaries since ever, so that's also maybe a suggestion for everybody to write your thoughts down. I think that's for me it's very important, so I can make things clear what's going up in my mind. And I also started to write things down, like, for what am I thankful? To go in the to be thankful is also a deep game changer, and to see what you already have in your life and what you are so lucky to have.
Yeah, definitely. Couldn't agree more. Very good. And then I feel there's more to the story because then I want to know how you got into coaching or what.
Well, step by step, I would say. I mean, as I said, I started to work with people when I was 18, studied social work, and then I really felt this is what I want to do. I really want to help other people to get to their power and to their potential. And then I also started to do the life coaching. I started, I think, 1.5 years ago with that. And this is really, for me, it's so the best thing I can do, to be honest, to see the change and to help people to change and get more into their selves. And for me, it's like going home, to be honest.
Yeah.
So. And also Anthony Robbins and his work has such a deep influence for my personal, but also for my professional life. I think the way he works and coaches people is so empowering.
It definitely is.
So it's really my fulfillment, and I love to do my part to make this world a better place.
Very nice. Well, what do you think is the biggest thing in your work, because you started when you were 18 and then saying you worked with mentally ill people and like studying social work, but working with so many people, like I'm calling it in therapy and coaching. Like, what is the biggest, I guess, issue with people? What is holding people back?
I think self-doubt is one of the issue from all of us. Doesn't matter how old you are or what you achieved in your life. I think many of us, I also have self-doubts, but right now I know more how to work with them and listen to them, what they want to tell me, and then to change them. I think it's normal to have them, but you need some good stuff to work with them.
And how do you work with them? What would you do? What would be the first step?
Well, meditation is one step for me. Just to calm down and not to really, just to look at my thoughts. And I think that's just to look at them and no judgment about them. Just look what's coming up in my mind, and then to write them down as the second step for me. And then to see and to focus where I want to go and how worthy I am and what I achieved in my life, to see what are my strengths and what can I do to change it, to feel better.
Very good. So you first identify them, or maybe you find them in a meditation, but becoming aware of what is it, what you're actually thinking, or what is it, what you're doubting, and then finding some resources why that's not true, right?
Right.
For example, like in the past, if you think you're not good enough, then you have to ask yourself, why am I actually good enough? Like what, a good example I have in my life that proves that I am good enough, right? And then remind yourself. Wow, very good. I always ask my guests the same 3 questions about happiness, and the first one is, what does happiness mean to you?
Well, that's a good one. I think to me happiness is to believe in myself and to know that life is always happening for me. And it's also a state of mind, of course, and it's a decision. I have to choose to be happy every single day. And so when I am happy, I feel good, I'm grateful, I'm in my personal power and in my balance. And it's also to be present and to be mindful. But I think also I have to remind and teach my brain every day. Well, because unfortunately, the normal state of our brain is more in a negative mood. And it's always looking for danger and to keep us alive. I mean, it's job since ever. So it's my job to tell him, nope, everything is fine. We are not in danger. So let's have a look what is going good and what we can be grateful for. It was a long answer, sorry.
Oh, I like it. And what do you do to be happy?
I try to start my day in a good energy, in a good mood. So I have a morning routine, which is, I really do it every day. Most days, okay, not every day. I try to do it every day, but sometimes, life is happening. Well, if I can do it, I try to stay up early. Then I drink a glass of water with fresh lemon in it. And then I go over to move my body, make some yoga, Pilates, or some other movements like functional training or something. And after that, I meditate and I bring gratefulness in my heart. And I really love to do it because it opens my heart and get my energy in the right level.
It's so interesting because I have a friend, so if you're listening, he asked me, but everybody of you guys has a morning routine, and he was making fun, like, do I have to have a morning routine as well? So when in your life did you establish your morning routine?
Well, I mean, it feels so good. If I don't do it, I really miss something. So that's why I'm like, okay, I have to do it because it's so worthy for me. It's getting me, my mind and my body and my soul in the right energy I need. Maybe not everybody needs it. Maybe some people are going up and like, oh my God, I'm in love, I'm in peace, I'm happy. I would be great for me, but normally I'm not in that mood when I stand up. So I have to work for it, to be honest. So that's why I need it. But maybe it's not for everybody. So we're all different.
True, very true. But when did you start it?
I started it, many years ago. I think I was something in my 20s, 21, 20,
And do you remember why? Or like, did you read a book or did you?
I think I read a book and was like, okay, maybe I can just try it because normally I just do some sports in the morning, but nothing spiritual like meditation or something. And then I added in, and this was a game changer because I was like, oh, okay, maybe I have all levels of me, like my body, mind, and soul together in the same mood, same energy level.
Very cool. The last question is, what was the happiest moment in your life?
All right. So, well, it's hard to choose, to be honest. I'm very lucky to say I have so many happy moments in my life. I think one of them was to meet my boyfriend and my partner, and we started to have the best relationship I can ever imagine. But also, Yeah, I think attending the seminar Unleash the Power Within from Anthony Robbins. I moved to Florida last November and walked over glowing coals. And I think you did that too, Nadine, right? In UK.
I did.
This was so crazy, but I really felt so happy after that. I don't know what about you, but was mind-blowing.
Yeah, definitely. It's mind-blowing is the right word, right? Because he makes you do things. I mean, he does that on every Unleash the Power Within seminar at the end, right? You have to walk, or is it, or the second day even over,
I think it's a second day,
hot coals, and you don't think you can do it, and then you've done it, and like, okay, if I can do that, I can basically do anything.
Yes, that's the point.
That's the point.
Yeah,
very good. How did you, maybe that's another question, did you get into Tony Robbins?
That's a funny story because I saw his documentary on Netflix, I'm Not Your Guru. And to be honest, I just saw the trailer and I was like, okay, what is going on there? What is this US man doing there on stage? And I was like, okay, I don't know what to think about him. And then I started to see the documentary, and then I was blown away about his work. And this was the point. I was like, okay, I need to go to his seminar. I need to know what he's doing. I need to learn how to coach like he's coaching. And that was my well, but to be honest, first I was not a fan maybe, but then if I had the information about him, I still, like today, I'm like, oh my God, he is really such a great human being.
It's crazy because he is so famous, and I think in the States lots of people know him because I read his books like even 40 years ago or something. And I do feel, especially maybe in Europe but in Germany, that people actually came across him through the documentary. So I will put that link in the show notes, and that was also how I found him, actually. And it's interesting sometimes when I meet people and I ask them, do you know Tony Robbins? And they say no, and I'm so surprised because I'm like, oh my God,
how is it possible?
Yes. But I mean, of course, because there is also so much in this world of personal development, and if you didn't really step your foot into this world, then it's maybe normal that you haven't heard about him. But if you're curious and you hear the name for the first time, then look up the documentary. I think that's a good start to get a feel what it is all about. And I know when I went to the Unleash the Power Within in London, and I took 2 days off because it was 4 days over the weekend. I remember that my former boss said, did you join a cult? And I was like, no, it's not a cult. I was like, I mean, they would make you come back, right? But it's completely voluntary, obviously. And it's not, I mean, what do you say? Brainwashing, but it is really just changing your thoughts, your mind, but in a positive way, right?
In a really positive way. I mean, he just show you how much you can do and how much power you have inside. That's and the funny thing is, my boyfriend knew or is knowing Anthony Robbins, and this was the point for me, like, okay, maybe we can figure this out together.
That's cool. Maybe we can just quickly dive into that story. So Marina and I actually met because we were in the same, I think, WhatsApp group, or somebody organized the Date with Destiny event. So that's a 5-day event of Tony Robbins, and that's probably the most intense one because it's literally like, you're having a date with your destiny, kind of really meeting yourself. And it was supposed to be in Germany, and that was during the second lockdown in 2020, and I was in Portugal at that time. And then I said, guys, if we cannot do it in Germany, just come to Portugal. And Marina and other, I think, 5 crazy people came actually 3 days later to Portugal, and we attended the event. And then it was so funny because it was American time from, I don't know, 10 a.m. until midnight. So for us, it started at 2 p.m. and it ran into until like 5 a.m. in the morning. And we were so jet lagged after this, right?
Yes, it's totally Tony Anthony Robbins jet lag.
All night, exactly. And we were completely in a different time zone, even though being in Portugal. Yeah, we're living in this apartment together and yeah, attending the event and dancing in the living room to really loud music in the middle of the night.
I really love this story to tell other people because it's so mind-blowing, really.
Yeah.
I love to remember.
Yeah, no, it was really great experience. It was fun though. And I did really think because if you attend an event, I think it's minimum 3,000 people, but the unleash power within is sometimes 10,000 people or something. So it's just crazy. And doing it at home in the living room, I wasn't really sure, but with 6 people and then having all the other people on screen, it actually was pretty nice in terms of the energy. And I think we were a nice group supporting each other. So but he always says, right, I mean, it's where your energy, your focus goes, your energy flows, and it's a lot about also your body and your physiology and to really feel things. So not just sitting on a chair and doing exercise and journaling, but actually really getting out of your comfort zone and being super energetic to change your state and to change your mind and to experience that. So I do like the concept.
Yeah, me too.
Very good. So I will share that in the show notes. And then my last question is there any book you read which changed your life?
My favorite author is Paulo Coelho. He's from Brazil. I think many of you guys know him. If not, you have to read his books. Well, I read all of his books, and my favorite. Yes, all of them. I have them here. Wow. I really love them. And I think my favorite one is The Alchemist.
Yeah.
I think it's also the most popular one from him.
It's the most popular one for sure. Yeah. But tell us the second favorite one, because I read just one more and I also want to read more of him. So I was thinking which one.
11 Minutes is also very good.
That's the one I read.
Oh, okay, very good.
Very good.
And I mean there are some like spiritual learnings in his books, and that's what I really love to read. Yeah, it's always like you feel good and you feel energized after reading.
Yeah, and they're all like novels. So I love to read them too, because I was actually thinking that because I'm reading so many self-development books, and then usually they say, now take notes, now do this exercise, now you have to, and you're working basically when reading, but it's not really relaxing. So I'm also from time to time really craving to just read a novel, to just, lie somewhere on the beach or sit on a train and just read without, like being
jumping up.
Yeah, exactly. Like having something to do. So that's why I do love his books as well. Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite authors as well. Yeah. So I put that in the show notes too.
Perfect.
Very good. Is there anything I didn't ask you and you feel you want to share or people should know?
Well, I think you asked before, but I think it's important to say it again, guys. Really just love yourself, listen to your heart, and you are all enough and worthy. I think that's the most important message for everybody of us every day. And we don't hear it that often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very true. I do want to end with this, but also I have to ask you one more. Actually, tell us what you do now as a coach, and how people can find you and how you work with people.
Well, right now I like to do one-on-one coaching, of course. I do it online. And I have a website, of course, but I'm sorry for you guys, but it's in German. Maybe I want to change it, but I need some time. And I also have right now a coaching workshop. It's about self-doubt, to resolve them. And I coach people how to get there and how to change, figure out what are your emotions, what are you feeling all the day, and how to change it maybe to the better. And also about your self-beliefs about yourself. So yeah. And then there's some exercise in it, and I try to coach the people to get over them.
The workshop?
Well, it's online, and there are some learning modules, and you go through them, and after that you have a coaching one-on-one with me, and then I tell you how you can include the stuff you learned into your life.
Okay, so it's an online course or like
right. Okay. It's on my website
in German. Okay,
yeah, in German right now, but I'm working on it to get it in English.
It's okay. I think 45% of the audience are Germans for you
okay,
guys.
Perfect.
You can. Yeah, and otherwise we have to wait. But yeah, very good. Very cool. So nice talking to you, Marina. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your wisdom. And this very important message. And I repeat it as well. I mean, just believe in yourself, don't doubt yourself, and know that you're good enough. Every single day, tell yourself. Maybe write it on the mirror or hang a post-it or put it at your background in the phone. And just remember that.
Ich hoffe, diese Folge hat dir gefallen und ich freue mich, wenn du auch beim nächsten Mal dabei bist.